Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Check 1, 2. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Okay. ASIO check 1, 2. You guys look like you're good. All right. Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Check 1, 2. Check. Sound check. All right. Thank you. You check. Check 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. All right. Thank you, David.
Good morning, everyone. If we can have everybody kind of settle down for a second. Good morning. My name is Kevin O'Toole. I am very lucky to serve as the chair of the Board of Commissioners of Port Authority. As I was driving down to Newark today, I was saying what a special day today really is. You know, July 2nd of 2017, I came on my first day to serve as a commissioner, and at the first meeting, I wanted to kind of serve notice to the board. I said, New Jersey is really important. Newark is really important. The day I got off the floor, July 1st of 17, when I retired from the Senate to come to the board, Senator Ruiz came over to my desk on the floor, and she said to me, don't forget about New Jersey. She goes, don't forget about Newark, and don't forget about New Jersey. First meeting, we said, very important. Newark Airport, important. Bus terminal, very important. In June of that year, I met an unbelievable individual, Rick Cotton, who came to Newark in June of 2017, and we had our first meeting. And I said, Rick, what's the vision? He says, we're going to redo all the assets. We're going to rebuild the airports. We're going to rebuild the port, the bridges. We're going to bring back prosperity to the Port Authority. We're going to show and unleash the potential and performance of the Port Authority. We're now 103 years of the Port Authority. And today, we are going to unleash the potential, the raw potential that the Port Authority has been building up for 103 years. Today is once in a lifetime you get to be either like a shortstop for the Yankees. You get to be in a place in the Port Authority where you're going to see an unveiling of the Newark Vision Plan, which we're going to talk about the expansion of Terminal A. And if you don't like the Mets believe, look around here. Look at Terminal A. You have to believe. Look behind you. 5-star ratings, international acclaim. Terminal A. Port Authority has delivered the goods. Under Rick Cotton's leadership and under the 8,000 employees of the Port Authority, commissioners like Commissioner Bowledge, Linford, they have delivered. Today, we unveil, underneath, we're going to show you what the future is for the Port Authority in Newark and in New Jersey. And in Newark and Bayonne and Elizabeth, it is the cradle of New Jersey. This is where all good things happen. And you're going to see the vision that we have that's expanding Terminal A. And more importantly, and equally important, you're going to see the unveiling of the future of Terminal B. We are tearing it down, and we are putting up a new Terminal B. And I will tell you, when we're done, make room for that 5-star rating. Because right now in the United States, there are two airports, Houston and LaGuardia, 5 stars. This is the third, and this will be the fourth. Port Authority will deliver. So I'm thankful that we're here today, and I will tell you, as I came down, I just celebrated my 60th birthday. I said, what am I going to do when I grow up? What am I going to do when I grow up there, Chris? We're going to build world-class airports. That's what I'm going to do. We're going to do it together. And I'll tell you, we couldn't have New Jersey, and I don't usually say New Jersey couldn't have a better partner than this magnificent executive director, the best executive director we have seen in the Port Authority. I will tell you, the best public servant I've served with in 40 years at every level of government. Please welcome our partner, our executive director, our leader, Rick Cotton. Rick.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for that introduction. This is a wonderful occasion. I'm delighted to be here, and Mr. Chairman, when you and I came together to the Port Authority, one of the very central elements of what we talked about was world class. That's the Port Authority standard, and we're standing here in Terminal A at Newark Liberty International Airport. It opened last year. As the chairman said, it has won accolades, but one is particularly precious from my point of view, which is last year it was declared by the premier airport rating agency, 2023 best new airport in the world. Not best new airport in the New Jersey, New York area, not best new airport east of the Mississippi, not best new airport in the United States, not best new airport in North America, but the best new airport in the world. So the world-class standard doesn't come from us. It comes from those who know airports, who know air travel. And we have done it in Terminal A at Newark. We have done it at LaGuardia. We are doing it at JFK. And now we're going to take what we did in Terminal A, which is here for everyone to see and declared world-class by those who know the business. We now unveil our master plan, our vision plan for Newark Liberty Airport. You can't get someplace if you don't know where you're going. And what this plan does is to lay out for everyone to see where we are going in terms of expanding Terminal A, but moving from worst to best the entire Newark Liberty International Airport. And I'm pleased at this point to turn the podium over to the Port Authority's head of airport redevelopment to describe our Terminal A vision plan, Jackie McCarthy.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and happy birthday. Thank you, Mr. Cotton. Today, on behalf of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, the Aviation Department, and the Airport Redevelopment Department, it is my pleasure to walk you through and provide an update on the vision plan for Newark Liberty International Airport, which, as stated, will redefine and outline its development over the next 40 years. I'll direct your attention to the screen. Now, before I take you through where we need to go, first you have to have an understanding of where we are today. This is Newark today. We have 3 runways, 3 terminals, and 110 gates. Going from south to north, you have New Terminal A, where you're standing today. It has been recognized nationally and internationally and recently brought home the Skytrax Best New Terminal Award and 5-star terminal rating in the world, amongst other industry awards. Directly across from New Terminal A is our parking garage A, which includes a ConRack, which is a consolidated rental car facility. Then moving a little bit further north, you see a circular roadway of our central terminal area, which we've affectionately dubbed the Egg. The legacy terminals are around the circumference of the Egg. You've got the existing Terminal A head house, which has been decommissioned for passenger use. You have Terminal B, which was built in 1973 and is our international terminal. And you have Terminal C of similar vintage, which is our United hub. Within the Egg itself, you've got surface level parking, you have a parking garage C, you have a Marriott hotel, and you also have our air traffic control tower. So there's a lot of stuff in a 5-pound bag. And what we need to do is decide, how do we bring this existing infrastructure to world class? Because in 2023, we've surpassed our annual passenger volumes at 49 million annual passengers, which is even higher than its pre-COVID levels. And while we love our passengers, that does put a significant strain on our dated infrastructure, and it's our job to fix that. So before we jump into the existing challenges, I want to remind everybody that Newark Airport historically has been an airport of firsts. It was the first airport to service the New York metropolitan area. It was the first airport to have an air traffic control tower, and it was the first airport to have a paved runway. It's always been at the cutting edge, and we have to bring it forward again. But there's some existing challenges that we have to contend with. Our airside is heavily constrained with our increased passenger volume, both our runways and our airspace. We have insufficient taxiways and taxi lanes. We don't have enough gating capacity, and we don't have enough aircraft parking. All of this cascades into numerous delays, which makes us one of the most delayed airports in the country. On our land side, it's very difficult to navigate. It's a spaghetti of roads. It is a lot of decision points, insufficient wayfinding, not enough connection from the community. And the result of that is just, you might circle a couple times, and we've all done that, right, before you get to your terminal. And then finally, on the terminal side, we have a lack of space. We're plagued by low ceiling heights, bottleneck checkpoints, a lack of passenger amenities, all of this leading to a subpar passenger experience. So what are we going to do about it? We have all of this information now. We just opened Terminal A. We're thrilled at the progress it's made. We want to continue building off of that. In our minds, Terminal A was the first domino to fall. So in 2022, we began the Newark Vision Plan, which was meant to establish the short, medium, and long-term goals and layout of the future airport. The 6 objectives we've used as pillars throughout this process to make sure it centered us to understand what we're really trying to accomplish. These objectives are to create a memorable, locally driven, world-class customer experience, to provide capacity for long-term passenger demand, reduce delays and increase operational efficiency and resiliency, make a feasible, phasable plan to minimize impact on airport operations and customer experience, enable access, business, and employment opportunities for the local communities, and to embed sustainability in every element, establishing Newark as the most sustainable airport in the United States. So, at its core, our planning process meant to answer 4 basic questions. What exists today? What will be needed in the future? What is the optimum layout of these future facilities? And how do we get there? So to answer these questions, during the vision plan, we took on extensive and iterative demand analysis. We did multiple options evaluations and modeling. We did a lot of forecasting and demand analysis. And this all resulted in the identification of projects as well as rough order of magnitude costs to move forward. But we couldn't do this alone. And I think it really does take a village, because we want to learn from past mistakes and we want to speak to the best people in the industry. So we engage with outside internal and external stakeholders. On the internal side, we defaulted to our airport community. We have our ops staff, our maintenance staff, the people that make Newark run. Nobody knows these facilities better than them. So we tapped into that resource. We used our subject matter experts in engineering, in our aviation planning, in sustainability, and within the rest of the aviation department. We took their advice. We spoke to the airline teams, and we also spoke to the non-airline support teams such as TSA and CBP to make sure their needs were incorporated. We also reached out to the communities itself. We went to academic institutions. We went to some of our sister agencies, the DOT, the FAA, the DEC, community organizations, with the goal to get and call as much information as possible to integrate this into a plan that meets the needs not only of the airport, but the community in which it resides. And then last, but certainly not least, after these 200 meetings and workshops that we held, we had a community outreach event, numerous, resulting in 12 sessions, and I'll get into that a little bit more on the next slide. But several themes emerged, and we had a lot of frequency and consistency in feedback. That include to make sure that we build an airport with operational efficiency and the modernization of facilities, to deliver a world-class passenger experience and once again build off the success of A, to embed sustainability and resilience, and you'll notice this theme. This kind of aligns with our pillars, which was what was rewarding during the process. And then also to make sure we had something that could withstand growth and changing trends and provide flexibility in a changing market. In terms of the community engagement, I think this is one of the best things that we did, and it gave us some of the most valuable input. We had 3 rounds of public sessions in both the cities of Newark and Elizabeth. They were offered at multiple times a day, and they were offered both virtual and in person, and that was to assure the best attendance. The first round was the listening session. This is where we expected to get any information that how we could be a better neighbor, because we are an airport and we have neighbors, and those are the cities in which we reside. And we got wonderful feedback from that. And the purpose of the second and third round of engagement was to make sure we could demonstrate how this could be incorporated in a project. That includes what's important to the community and to take that and make sure you can show that there's a tangible way to reflect that in the way that you build. And once we finished all of that, more consistent feedback. The first thing is more local art, culture, and a sense of place from Newark and Elizabeth. We started building off this at Terminal A, and it's extremely important. And what we wanted to do is differentiate Newark. We don't want it to be branded as the gateway to New York. We want it to be branded as the gateway to New Jersey and be reflective of the values of the people who live here. So how do you do that? You add more local art, culture, and sense of place. And this was very much building off of the success we did now, and to make sure that as we incorporate it, we do it better and we do it bigger. The second major point was people wanted to see more business opportunities for local businesses, MWBEs, et cetera, for their design firms, for their construction firms, for concessions, for retail, just to give opportunities where there might have been a higher buy-in cost in the past, to make sure you lower those barriers so that people can get in here. The third, improve terminal design and amenities. Whether you work here or you're flying out or you're flying in, if you're here, you should feel good here. And the amenities then which are here reflect what your needs could be, whether it's retail, whether it's art, whether it's just a lack of a stress point. Fourth, employment opportunities for local communities. We have some projects that we're going to discuss in a couple slides from now, and what we really need to do is understand that, once again, this airport's reflective of the local communities, and it should be running with, they are the cogs in the wheel. They should be included in the planning of this process, and they should have opportunities here to work here, so that because this airport is largely in their backyard, and to build upon that. And last, but certainly not least, to improve airport access for local residents and employees. Historically, you take an Uber or you park, and then or sometimes you take the air train in. And we'll go into that later, but generally speaking, we need to improve that. We need to make sure there are more one-seat rides and better ways to access efficiently and quickly the airport. So while Terminal A feedback has been largely positive, we want to take Terminal B and we want to build upon that. And we want to continue building upon that to make this not only a world-class facility, building off the past success, but also to make sure that, once again, it's representative of the state in which it resides. So, I guess I've been talking a lot at this point. But after all of that, we put it in a box, we shook the box, and what were our recommendations? We've broken these recommendations into both near-term recommendations and long-term. Things that are near-term are things we envision which will occur within the next 10 years. That includes the completion of the ongoing air train and station access program. These two projects, these two programs are already out there. And what's wonderful about them is they build off of a lot of the comments that we received from both the community and our technical advisory meetings on accessibility and making the airport more accessible. So our goal, we want to deliver this quickly, and we want to get them into action. The second is Terminal A capacity enhancements. As stated, while we love our passengers, the growth here, and that's a positive thing because it shows that we are a desirable airport, but the growth has exceeded our expectations. And what we need to do is, in order to maintain that level of service that everybody has become accustomed to at Terminal A, we need to make sure that Terminal A can handle that increase in capacity. So we're looking at additional ways to enhance that capacity and make sure that the terminal remains as efficiently run as it does today. Third, which I think is the piece de resistance here, is the Terminal B replacement, as the chairman said. This is going to be a fantastic mega project, and we're very, very excited about it, because it's not just putting a terminal on a map. When we looked at the plan before, you saw Terminal A was largely in a greenfield site. This is different. This is right in the center of that egg that we saw earlier. This is an implosion. But with that, we are going to restructure both the airfield, the land side, and everything else about this airport. And that's why the Terminal B isn't just the replacement of a terminal. It's the complete restructure and reconfiguration of our airside and landside facilities in support of such. And that includes utilities. You see under Terminal B, we have a CHIRP replacement. Right now, CHIRP stands for Central Heating and Refrigeration Plant. That supplies hot and chilled water throughout our central terminal area. And that has to be replaced too. And then last, but certainly not least, enhancement of Terminal C assets. As we modernize, as we expand A, modernize, and rebuild B, there's going to be a level of service expected that should be consistent across all of our terminals. And that will include Terminal C, and we're going to have to make sure that that is enhanced to meet the expectation of our customers. Then we have long-term recommendations. We don't want to just stop there. We don't want to build Terminal B and say, that's it, we did our job. We want to keep building from that. And part of that is future-proofing. You want to make sure you don't outgrow your roads too quickly, or your airside, or your landside. You want to build with intent, and you want to build with purpose. So we're going to continue working on the completion of the central terminal, roadways, and utilities to fortify that. We're going to expand our parking facilities and make sure that they're subject to future trends, whether it's in AV or an additional EV charging and induction charging, to make sure that they can accommodate the needs of the industry. We're going to add additional airside facilities to kind of modernize our airfield structure to make sure that it's efficient, to reduce delay on that. And that could be de-icing pads, that's additional parking spaces, quick turns, et cetera. And last but certainly not least, eventually, we hope to one day fold into a Terminal C replacement. And so now for the fun part. We've compiled a handful of renderings as part of the vision plan. I do want to say these are all concepts and illustrative in nature, but I think they show you a little bit of what we're aiming for. The first one in front of you is a new Terminal B. You see the main head house, a lot of greenery and foliage. You see the future air train connecting from Terminal A on the west side of Terminal B. And then you see the skyline and everything beyond. Rendering again of Terminal B, but this now from another viewpoint. You're looking from the north to the south. You see our aprons, you see our gates, you see our head house. And once again, now you see Terminal A, but now it's in the background and how we will connect to Terminal A physically. This is another vision of what we consider our near-term layout. When you're looking at this, you're looking at the whole shebang in that first column. Revitalized roadways and airfield. You see new Terminal B. Once again, you see that physical construction to Terminal A for our passengers. And then you see a central terminal area that could have parking, it could have hotels, it could have anything. Really just to make this place a place that you would want to work, stay, and depart from. Now I ask you to study this image because the next one is a potential long-term layout. Now this doesn't differ too much, except it offers one possibility. So when we were doing the vision plan, the thought is, do you have, when you're complete in 40 years, a 2-terminal system or do you have a 3-terminal system? A 2-terminal system would presume a combined head house for future Terminal C and future Terminal B. Or, depending on how we phase this and what we want to ultimately see, here you would have a 3-terminal system. In this particular layout, we are looking at the possibility, the art of the possible, of having a single terminal head house for efficiency of space that combines the functionality in the future of Terminal B and C. And how you would build that is we would build to a point for Terminal B, and we would just make sure that the roadways and everything would not preclude and would support any future expansion. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jackie. You know, Jackie, when we flew out to Frankfurt to get those awards with Frank Raddick and Jim Heitman, it was just an astonishing place and time where they were talking about, the international crowd was talking about the Port Authority and the magic of LaGuardia and the magic of Terminal A. And that's what you're seeing right here, is people will be talking about, this will be the single biggest project in the state of New Jersey, in the metropolitan area. This will be the single biggest redo of an airport that we call Newark Airport right now. And you couldn't do it without partners. We have a wonderful partner here, our dear friend and Majority Leader, Teresa Ruiz. Teresa, come on in and talk about this wonderful city and state that you represent.
Good morning, everyone. I see my municipal colleague here, Pat Council from the South Ward. Jackie said 49 million, right? It wasn't billion, it was million? 49 million visitors. Sometimes their only opportunity to get a flavor or a taste of who we are here in New Jersey, in Elizabeth, and in Newark. And I will tell you, if you go into other terminals, sometimes you will get the impression that you are in the state of New York. Now, all of you who are here can clearly point to a geographic location. You know that you're in Mayor, I think we're actually in Elizabeth. I'm gonna fess up and say I think we're actually in Elizabeth today. Sometimes we're hovering on the border of Elizabeth and Newark. But after I parked my car and came in through one of the last doors, the first thing that I saw in one of the stores was big sweatshirts that said New Jersey. For many of us, that is a welcoming opportunity that we know that now people who are flying from Germany, Italy, wherever, all over the world internationally, that they can recognize that they're in the Great Garden State. And for far too long, this location didn't lend itself to that. And it was a bane of my existence, and I know that the chairman was tired. Now, I don't call him anymore when I fly out of Terminal A, but I still call him when I fly out of Terminal C. And I'm not going to identify any airlines in particular, but you could do your own research. It is far too long in time for anyone to select their departure flights or arrival flights and tickets and still have entities claiming New York / Newark. Everybody knows where Newark International Airport is. Terminal A knows where Newark International Airport is. Their international designation of the greatness that occurring knows where Newark International Airport is. You heard consistently all the benefits, WMBEs, community flavor, bringing existence into here. The municipalities that are host communities to these great spaces, we deal with the burden of pollution. We deal with the burden of transportation, and the Port Authority has recognized that consistently. And so while we see everything that's transpiring here, I know that that collaborative partnership will bleed into our neighborhoods, whether it's through tree planting programs, reinventing community partnerships, bringing students in here to see what kind of economic viability opportunities for their career pathways, just creating those integral community relationships so that we know that the port has New Jersey and Newark's back. I know that the chairman does. I know that our membership does. I know that Rick has that as well. And in this presentation, Jackie, I will tell you that I'm going to lean in here. I'm good if there's two, but if the operating entity is not the Port Authority itself, then we have to stay with three, because I see the work that you all have done here. I know the respect that you have for the state. You see it consistently. When you have an 8-year-old who comes into the airport and is hesitant to frequent one of the restroom facilities because she knows what's expected, then we have a problem. And that never happens in Terminal A. So to everyone who's leaning into this project, for the investments that we're making, thank you. The state of New Jersey will be a critical partner in this, collaborative, with issues driven, and always with support. Thank you, everyone, and congratulations.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Our last speaker in here, bipartisan, Assemblyman Chris DePhillips. Chris, give us your 30 seconds. Come on up. Assemblyman Chris DePhillips.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Great to be here. The Port Authority ignites the regional economy, and that's what today is all about. These plans will continue to ignite and expand the regional economy. Here in New Jersey, this is about New Jersey. I'm a member of the Transportation Committee in the legislature. Happy to be here to support it. The chairman, great leadership, preceded me in the legislature, and I'm just so happy to be here and to support the cause. So thanks so much.
Thank you. Thanks, buddy. Thanks. Chris, you're good? All right, Rick, that concludes. I want to thank everybody. Aviation, thank you. Jackie, superstar, thank you, thank you, thank you. Jim Heitman, everybody in aviation, great job. Looking forward to the next generation of growth here. I'm telling you, it's coming. It's coming. Let's go. Well done. Thank you. We have a Q&A? Jackie? Have fun, Chris. You got it, buddy. Teresa, come on up. Tom, where are we at? Yes. Tom? Or you? How are you? Two small questions, Jackie. What do you think? Timeline, price tag.
So as part of the vision plan, we did have ROMs for all of the projects that we identified. However, we are going to be rolling into a Terminal B program planning, and I think that the price tag at that point will be really established then as we refine the scope. The program planning comes first, then comes the build. So we still have to sharpen our pencils a little bit. We're looking to get the Terminal B program planning out within the next 3 to 4 months, roughly.
Just one thing on timing. Recognize Terminal A is completed. The brand new Newark Air Train, multi-billion-dollar new facility will be the next step. Right behind, or in conjunction with that, the Northeast Corridor train station will be built. And as Jackie said, we're about to launch the planning for specifically Terminal B.
I don't think we have that right now, but we have a lot of this is in progress, as we just talked about, the expansion of Terminal A, air train, Newark access. Things are in process right now, but in terms of having a timeline complete when Terminal B is going to be ripped down and brought up, we don't have that, but we'll have that in hopefully the near future. Larry Higgs. No? We don't have that number right now, Larry. We'll get back to you on that. Thank you. Yes.
So we are working closely. So all of this redevelopment falls under Ralph DiPuzzo, who is our director of Newark redevelopment. Under him is the air train, the station access, Terminal B modernization and replacement, and everything. So all of these projects dovetail and are working together. None of them are being done in a vacuum. So our final alignment is working with the air train. I can flip back.
Sure.
Okay. So it's kind of hard from here, so I'm going to go to one of the original ones. Okay. So if you look at Terminal B where it is now, the footprint does expand substantially to accommodate some of the growth we discussed. But when you take a look at some of the renderings we showed in terms of the new geometry, that's being brought west. So you see the existing air train kind of goes around that egg. The new air train alignment is pretty much on the lower of that egg, right? So it will expand from Terminal A to New B and so on and so forth. So because we're bringing that entire alignment further west to increase our airfield capacity there, it will align with the future air train. Correct, toward the hotel to the bottom of the page. As of now, yes.
Good question. Yes, Larry.
Well, we've had a lot of practice at that, Larry. We've gone through it twice. We had the advantage at Newark in terms of Terminal A being built on a greenfield, but we've been dealing with those. We dealt with those problems at LaGuardia. We are dealing with those problems or challenges at JFK, and by the third time, you sort of get the hang of it. So it takes a lot of planning. There are a lot of entities involved in the airport, but we know how to do this. One thing, you can't tear down old capacity until you build new capacity. I mean, that's the central planning dynamic in terms of the functioning airport. So you heard Jackie refer to the Terminal A expansions, so that those will have to happen first because that will add capacity, and then we'll have to work with, again, a transition plan where we maintain the operating capacity of the airport throughout the process. So all of this will get worked out in the planning process, again, that Jackie referred to. That will start up. We'll go out with a procurement to kick off that process in the very near future, and we'll have answers to these questions as the planning process proceeds.
Yep, one more, Tom.
Well, as I said, we learned a lot of lessons at LaGuardia. I would point out, although everyone has that image planted in their mind, it happened at the beginning of the first summer. And one thing you learn is you have to plan for the peaks. So I have no doubt that the lessons learned at LaGuardia and at JFK will enable us to handle the construction process, to manage the traffic, and to avoid any passengers having to get out of their cars.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it. Thank you. Jackie, great job.
Thank you.
Honestly, terrific. Thank you.